What's up, y'all? So today we're going to be talking about how to be more authentic, right? And authenticity is something that a lot of people struggle with, and the reason why a lot of people struggle with it is because you're kind of like taught to deny who you are. You're taught to like hide who you are with the world. You're taught to like, don't be who you are, don't show everybody. And if you want to get a good job, you gotta be like this, be on your best behavior. Or if you wanna truly find somebody to love, then you wanna give them the best version of you when you first meet them. And so like we in a world where most people are just not being authentic. They're not being their true self. And a lot of that comes from like when you were born, like when you were being raised, your parents kind of taught you to like, be on your best behavior and don't do this and don't do that. And we kind of learn how to like deny ourselves, right? So finding true happiness and finding true joy is in being your most authentic self. Like the more you are yourself, the more you'll be able to tap into your purpose, the more you'll be able to tap into like what truly makes you happy and do those things, the more you'll be able to attract the people that you really want to be in friendships with, in relationships, because you're being true to who you are, and that is radiant. It's a magnet to people who are like you or people that are attracted to it. So authenticity is like the best thing that you want to truly focus on. So let's look at some of the ways where people aren't authentic, and when you could really identify like, okay, what part of my life am I not being my most authentic self? And then once you can start to notice that, then you'll realize like why you may be dealing with being unauthentic, unauthentic, or fraud. In my neighborhood we'll say fraud. He's being a fraud. So, you don't want to be a fraud out here. You don't want to be a fraud. You want to be true to who you are as an individual, right? So, how do you become true to being who you are as an individual and not being a fraud? Do things that you love to do. One of the major reasons why people lose themselves is because 8 hours out the day, minimum of 8 hours out the day, 10 hours out the day, people are putting on a front. Working a job that they don't want to work for, a pay that they're not really excited about, and ultimately playing a game with people to be able to manage and deal with those relationships. And that's a major reason. If you're pretending for a third of the day, at least 8 hours out the day, it could be 10 hours, it could be even 12 hours out the day, then that's going to set off who you are as a person to stay in that pattern on a daily basis. So you don't want to operate in that pattern because that pattern is robbing you, right? So one of the major things is do something that you love to do, right? If you focus on doing something that you love to do, eventually what will happen is that'll become a domino effect, and you'll find things that you love to do as well. And you'll lead yourself in a direction of things that, oh, this feels good to me. Let me try this as well. Or let me operate in this space as well. But if you are on a daily basis doing something that does not make you feel good, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle with tapping into who you are. And it's not the doing of the thing, it's the belief behind it. Well, I got to do this because I got to pay the bills, or I got to do this because of this, or that doesn't mean you have to put on a front. That doesn't mean when you get around people, you have to put this voice on. Oh, hi, how you doing, Miss Jim? Oh, that was so sweet. Oh, yeah. I remember with me, right? I used to work on Wall Street. I was a stockbroker, and when we would get on the phone, like especially us, we coming from the Bronx or Brooklyn, Queens, coming in from the hood, getting on the 2 train, coming down, And then people are sitting there like, hey, how you doing, Mr. Jones? This is Kenneth Williams with and I just wanted to know, you just automatically switching up your voice. Hey, Mr. Jones, how you doing? Great day. Hope everything is going well today. Did you get the package that I sent you? That type of like disguising of your voice. And then I remember a friend of mine was saying like, yo, Rev, why don't you, make some videos and make some audios? And I'm like, yeah, all right. So he was making the music. And so I started to like speak over the music. And he was like, he stopped it. He was like, yo, what the fuck is that? So I'm like, what you talking about? He's like, who is that? And I'm like, what you talking? You know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean? Who is that? It's me. He's like, yo, that's not how you talk in the hood. And I'm like, really? I was unconscious of the fact that I was switching my voice up. I was unconscious to it. It's what everybody did. So it's what I did. It just became like, oh, that's the work voice. Screw that work voice. Because you'll find yourself lost looking for yourself over and over because you played into a role or played into this thought that you had to be something that you wasn't. And it wasn't until I started to like find my own voice, like be conscious of like, let me be very intentional with this, where I started to find my way in places that fit for me. I didn't have to like try to create these worlds or like fit in and then every day I'm putting on a mask. Like that never worked for me. I'm not that type of individual. But when I recognized like, yo, you have to live in your truth, that's when doors started to open for me. Being my voice, right? So one of the major things that helped me to do that, it was making an agreement with myself. Like, yo, listen, I'm not playing myself no more. Because the feeling of like not being who I was felt so bad. I said to myself, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not doing what doesn't feel good to me anymore. And I'm not going to make excuses about why I'm not doing it or how it's not going to work and what if I don't make no money. No, I got to figure out a way where this is going to work. So it has to work. A door has to open. Money has to be made by me being my real self. I'm not going to operate in the space of holding on to this belief that, oh, I have to play a game. I got to put on a costume, put on a mask in order for people to accept me. That's some bullshit. That's a belief that's rooted in scarcity. That's a belief that's rooted in poverty. And I'm not owning that shit no more. And that's how I had to play that game with myself. Because as long as I was sitting there saying, well, this is how it... Then I was automatically opting myself out of all of the opportunities that was there for me. Now we in a day and an age where you could say, oh, listen, I put my authentic self on the camera and people would... Listen, I have people... Let me say something, man. I have people that pay me thousands of dollars to coach them, and I'm being my authentic self. I'm not playing no games. I'm not hiding nothing. I'm telling them everything that went on in my life. And they're sitting there saying, I want more. We in the times where you don't have to hide who you are. Your authentic self matters. People want to hear your story. People want to know the genuine you. People want to connect to you. People are wondering why they're not getting the relationships that they want. They're not in love the way they want. They're not feeling the acceptance from people. It's because you're not being who you are. You're not being your most authentic self. So number one, let's forget anything else or all the, people have like the 12 different things. That's cool. We ain't going to do the 12 different things. We're going to do the one thing right now. The one thing is do something that you love every day to make money. And when you focus on that and you could take that big chunk out of your day and start focusing on doing something that you love, automatically you'll start to see so many other areas of your life changing because you have committed to a version of yourself that demands you to show up all the time, every day. Make a commitment, hold a belief in your mind that says, I'm not doing anything unless it is truly genuine and authentic to who I am as a person. And in doing that, I'm going to show up as my most powerful version of myself, period.